Hello everyone! Welcome to Art Class with Kendra. I'm your teacher, Kendra, and today we're going to be drawing a little cat doing ballet. Now we're going to be drawing in a cartoon style, so we're going to simplify everything down to basic shapes, and then we're going to build out from there. Here's an example of what we're going to be drawing today. Now you can see that my kitty here has a little friend, a little bunny friend. If you would rather draw a bunny, the steps are all the same except you're going to change the ears. So instead of doing little triangle ears, you're going to do nice, big, long ears. All right, let's get started. So here I have another little drawing of my cat. I like to keep this here so we can refer back to it while we're drawing our own little cat. The first thing we're going to do is start with this shape right here. Now this is a circle, so let's just go ahead and draw our circle on the page. Please press lightly. See how I'm just barely touching the page, because we may need to erase some of these lines as we go. Just a nice light circle. So this circle here is going to become our head. Often when I'm drawing a cartoon character, I start with the head and I start with a circle. But sometimes you're going to find that your head is an oval shape, or sometimes you'll even find it's a bit more of a triangle shape. But today we're going to do a circle. Now the next step is going to be to add in our ears and the body. So let's do the body. Let's do that next. So the body shape is kind of like a square here. So I'm just going to draw a couple of little lines going down. I'm curving these lines a little bit out. So they're curving a little bit. They're not straight. I'm doing that to show body language. So the spine of this cat is bending like this. The spine is the backbone. Now I'm going to kind of finish off the bottom. I'm just going to round this off. So this is the base of the kitty. This is the kitty's bum area where the legs join. So the next thing I'm going to draw is going to be the arms and the legs and the ears. Now we're going to keep it simple for now. So let's just draw lines. Let's just draw some lines for the arms. So this arm is going to come out like this. And this arm is going to go down like this. For the legs, this leg is going to attach here and it's going to go down to a point. And this leg is going to be kicking up. So we can draw it like this. So right now we basically just have some sticks for our legs and our arms, but we're going to elaborate on those as we go. That means we're going to build on those. We're going to make them a little more interesting. So let's add the sleeves. So I'm going to add a sleeve here. I'm going to add some wiggle lines like that. There's one sleeve. And now I'm going to add a sleeve over here. Now the shoulder is right here. So we have to kind of pull out a little bit here. Here the shoulder is tucked behind the head so we can't see it. But here we need to draw in the top of that arm. And now we can do the wiggle down. And I'm just going to pull this inside the body just a little bit here. That's because this side is facing us and this side is pointed away. So we don't actually see the arm cross over the chest here. We just see this little line right like this. There we go. So once you have those little squiggles done for the arm, so that's these little areas right here, we're going to draw in the actual arm shape. Now these are very, very simple shapes. We're just going to go like this. Along the line, make the line in the center of your shape. There's one little arm there. And now we're going to draw the other little arm over here. And these are almost like hot dog shapes. There we go. Now this line is a little bit thinner than this line. This one is thicker here. And this one's thinner. So I'm going to make them match. I'm just going to add a little more arm there. There we go. That's why it's nice to draw nice and light. You might find that you need to erase as you go. So it's good not to press too hard. That way you can erase it. And now let's go ahead and add in our legs. We're going to do the same thing with those legs. So I'm going to come out and I'm going to put a little point here for the toe. The toe is kicked. Nice simple leg there. And then this leg is kicking out. So I'm going to do the same thing. Point at the toe. There we go. So right now we have the form of our ballet cat. So we have two legs here, Again, they're kind of the shape of hot dogs, but I'm pointing them a little bit because the toe is pointed out like a ballerina toe. And then two little kind of hot dog shapes right here, little oval kind of shapes. Now let's go in and let's do the kitty ears. Now the ears are kind of rounded triangle shapes. So just like we have the arm coming over the line here, we're going to have this kitty ear come inside the head. And this kitty ear is going to be on the outside, just like this is on the outside. But before we add the ears, what I like to do is find the face center. So the face center is actually here. So see the little curved line going from the middle of the neck to the middle of the head, but there's a little curve. That's because we're looking at this from the side. And I'm also going to do a little curved line here. So this shows us how the face is pointed. If you draw these lines in, it actually makes it much easier to add your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and your ears. So now what I can do is use this as a guide. A guide is something that's going to help me place everything where it needs to go. I'm going to start with the nose. So the nose this is the line for the eyes. So I'm going to do the nose just a little below where the eyes would be. So I'm going to draw a little rounded triangle right there for the nose. So that's the nose here, that's the nose here. Now I'm going to do the eyes next. You don't need to draw your eyes like me. If you want, you can just do a little circle like this and a little circle like this. Look how cute that is, right? That's adorable. Or you can draw bigger eyes, that's fine too. So I'm going to draw some nice big circles, but you draw your eyes however you like. Again, I'm pressing very lightly, and I'm crossing over the center of that line. Now you can see that the eye on this side is very close to the edge of the face, whereas on this side, it's further away, and that's because we're looking at the head, not straight on, but at a little bit of a tilt. So you see here, if you look at my face, the kitty ear is actually coming forward a little bit. You can kind of see the back of my head even, right here. Whereas on this side, it's disappearing behind my head. And my eyes, there's a lot of space here, whereas here, there's very little space here. You can't really see this side of my face at all. That's because my head is tilted just slightly. If I look straight forward, everything would be very centered. If I look over to the side, everything skews just a little bit that way. So that's what we're seeing here. Now I'm going to add in those ears. Now I have this guide, so I know where the center is, and I know where the center is here. So I'm going to go right in the middle. Add my rounded triangle there. I'm going to go right in the middle here. And I'm going to add my rounded triangle here. Some cats have really pointy ears, so if you want to give your cat pointy ears, that's okay. I'm also going to draw the center of the ear. And then I'm just going to kind of give a little bit of an edge there. There we go. So it's starting to look a lot more like a kitty now. Now let's draw in our little mouth. That's just kind of a little smile face there. There we go. And now we can add a little bit of detail into the ballet part of the cat. You know what I'm going to do though? I'm going to erase these little dots because they are sure distracting, aren't they? We don't need those little dots there. Why don't we kind of finish our eyes off a little bit? So I'm going to draw a nice big circle inside the eye. I'll leave a little bit of the white of the eye exposed on the top. And this is going to be the pupil. The pupil is the dark part of your eye. And the white of the eye is the part that's white. So I have a little bit of white and a little bit of a big pupil. I'm going to pick a direction for my light to come in. So my light is going to come from here. I'll just draw a little sun to remind us, which means the highlight is going to be primarily here. That's the big highlight. And then light's actually going to travel through the eye and come out along the back. So I'm going to do a couple little dots on the back. So we have the primary highlight right here, and then these are secondary highlights back here. Now we're going to color those in when we do our final lines. For now, we can just leave it. Let's get into the body here. There's just a few more things we need to do to make this ballet cat look a little more like a ballet cat. So we're going to draw the waist. I'm going to put the waist about here. Now this is the waist of the tutu. So I'm going to do a little band here, like an elastic waist. So that's going to be the waist of my tutu. And then we need to draw in our actual tutu. So I'm going to start back here, just above the bottom of that line. And I'm just going to do some nice squiggle lines. Just barely tucking underneath the bottom of the body. And then this one has to curve up around the leg. And then we can have it kind of finishing off like that. But the leg is coming in front here, whereas this leg is behind. This one is in front of the skirt here. Now the shoes are nice and simple. We just kind of build off of what we already have. So I'm going to do a little curved line like that. And then I'm going to do a little curved triangle like that. And then on this foot, I'm going to do the same thing, but it's going to be at an angle. This foot's at an angle. So I'm going to do that curved line here. That's all the same. That's fine. But then up here, I'm just going to make it so that the triangle is coming off of that foot. So we're seeing the shoe from the side. When we go to add in our final lines, we can add a little bit more space where the shoe is covering so it looks like it's sitting on top of the foot. So when we do this line, we're going to press a little harder there. And then when we do this, we'll come outside just a bit like that. And that will make it look like the shoe is on the foot. So then what we're going to do is just add some straps here. So I'm going to do a couple of rounded stripes. 1, 2. There's some stripes there. You don't actually need to add these. I just think they look nice. 1 like that. And 2 like that. So we have a couple of little straps there to hold the shoe on. And what else do we want to add? We can add this little flourish here. So I'm going to do a little triangle here. And then I'm going to go line, 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 line for those little zigzags there. When we go to finish them off, we can kind of block these off a little bit if we want, or we can just leave them as strings. That's okay too. Just going to turn mine into kind of thicker stripes there. So we're almost done our kitty. What we need to do now is just add in the little finishing touches. So here I have a bow, but you know what? I kind of want to add a flower band around the ear for this drawing. So that's what I'm going to do. But if you want to do a bow, all you need to do is a circle and then some triangles that sit inside the circle. So bows are nice and easy, but I'm going to do a flower here. So I'm going to start with a circle, and then I'm just going to do some squiggles around it. I'm going to do nice simple flowers today. Now I'm going to do another circle here, and I'm going to do some squiggles around it, but I'm going to tuck it in behind that flower. Circle with some squiggles. So you can see where I'm going with this. Lots of circles and squiggles. Now these ones back here would be a little bit more oval shaped than circles because we're seeing them from the side. And then we do our little flower. Little flower. There we go. Now we have a nice little flower earpiece there. So this is the base of our drawing. So now what we have to do is go in and darken our outlines, erase the lines we don't need anymore. So the guidelines, like this line here, we don't need that. So I'm going to go in and do some erasing. Now this is an eraser. I love this eraser. I can get nice detail erasing with it. So I'm erasing the guideline for the center of the face. The center of the face is the middle of the face where everything kind of comes off of here. I'm going to erase my guidelines in the arms. Those little lines, we don't need those anymore. And I'm going to erase the guidelines down here. We don't need to see this. This is all inside the skirt. So everything on the inside of the skirt we can erase. We don't need any of that anymore. There we go. And then we don't need this little line here. This is a tough one to erase, so you might choose to just leave it in. There we go. So now I have all of those lines erased, and it's time to darken my outlines. So I'm going to use my pencil now and just go over top of everything. And you can see the difference. Look how dark that line is compared to the other lines. So the other lines, I don't want those to be too hard because you could see I erased a lot of those lines. But with this one right here, we're just kind of building off of what we've already drawn. So it's pretty easy. We just kind of trace over our own artwork here. I'm going to build off these flowers. And then if you would like to, you can add color. You can see in my example drawing, I actually do this step with a pen. I love using a black pen when I'm drawing. I prefer it to using a pencil. The reason for that is I can easily erase over a pen, whereas a pencil, it's harder to erase around it and still keep the integrity of your drawing. The integrity of your drawing is what you want there. It's basically the lines that you're creating. It's a tricky word, isn't it? Integrity. keeping it true to your drawing. I guess that would be a better way to describe it. So those are the outside of the eye, and then these are the pupils. Again, the pupils are the dark spots in your eye. And then we have our highlight and our secondary highlight because light is traveling through our eye. So now we can fill the pupil, fill the dark spot. The pupil is the black part of the eye, and the iris is the colored part of the eye. So you actually have your eye white and your iris and your pupil. But the pupil is the only one we're drawing in here. We're not doing too much detail. That's because when you're drawing cartoons, often you want to simplify things. Here's our nose. Now, normally I would give a cat whiskers, but because we're simplifying, I don't think this cat needs whiskers. I think it looks pretty nice without the whiskers, so we're just going to leave it. Go and make this a little bit darker here. Make the arm a bit darker, and then I'm actually going to add a few little lines here for the paws. There we go, just a couple of little lines to indicate the separation of the digits, I guess, on a cat, the little fingers. Cats don't have fingers. I don't know what they're called. Humans have fingers. There we go. There's those two little lines again. And the ballet skirt. This is such a nice thing to draw. I love curvy lines like this. They're so fun. Nice little curvy line. Now when we're done with this, what we're going to do is add a little bit of kind of texture into the skirt to show wrinkles. To show the pleats. When you have a ballet skirt or you have intentional little sections in a skirt, those are often referred to as pleats. There we go. Nice little straps on the shoes there. Now, every time that one of these little curves comes up, what I'm going to do is draw a little line very lightly coming back. So like that. These are where the little wrinkles are in the skirt. And that's going to help tell the story of that skirt. There we go. Adds a little bit of movement too, doesn't it? Now the last step here is just to do these. I kind of wish I kept these simple. I think I would have looked better with nice straight lines, but that's okay. There we go. Now what I like to do sometimes as well is add a little second layer to the skirt. So I'm just going to go every time the skirt comes out a bit, I'm just going to add a little bit of a additional little layer there. You don't have to do this step. This is kind of a bonus step. And then if you want, you can add, a few eyelashes to your kitty. That can be nice if you have room. And then of course you can add a little bit of color if you want as well. So that's our kitty. I really like the flowers. I think the flowers look very nice up here. Just circle those a little bit more. And if you want to add some shading, of course you can. Maybe I'll do a little bit of shading today. So our light is coming in here, which means the highlight is going to be on this side, on the right side, and the shadow is going to be on the left side. So if we would like to add just a little bit of light, we're going to darken the left side, and we're going to keep the right side nice and light. Another area we might add shadow to is cast shadow. So this head would be creating shadow like that. So we can add a little shadow there. I'm very quickly going to shade. Now you might choose to add color, and that's okay. You don't need to do what I'm doing right now. I'm just doing a little bit of light shading here. So this is all the shadow side here. This is the cast shadow here. And then we'd have a little bit of shadow here. And then all of these folds would actually have a little bit of shadow. So I'm just going to lightly color with my pencil. There we go. Just some nice light shading here. Nothing too complicated. A little bit of cast shadow on the leg. And a little bit of shadow at the base of the foot there. There we go. I'm going to add very, very small shading here. I'm leaving a little bit of light on the right-hand side right here. That's called reflective light. So I don't want to shade quite to the edge. I'm going to leave just a little bit of room there. I don't want to shade too much. I don't want my kitty to be too dark. I'm just adding a teeny bit of shadow. I'll color the inside of the ear just a bit. And I'm going to color the nose just a bit. There, look at that. A little bit of a cast shadow under those, and then I'm going to have my shadow here. My light source is here, so my shadow's going to go this way. It's going to follow that light source. Nice subtle shadow here, and then it's just going to kind of fade out like that. And there we go, just a little bit of shading tells our story a little bit better. But of course you don't need to shade if you don't want to. You can leave it as a line drawing, or you can add color. You can see here in my color version how I follow those shadows and highlights in a very similar way. I have the darker values for the shadow side, and I keep the light side, the highlight side, white. All right, guys. I hope you've enjoyed drawing with me today. Again, in today's class, in today's lesson, we drew this little kitty here. There it is. If you would like to make it into a different animal, you can do that by changing the ears, changing the nose, and changing the mouth, just like on this bunny. And if you would like to draw your animal doing something different, then just put a different outfit on it and do a different position. When you're drawing your lines for the positions, just change your position. I could see this being like somebody doing maybe a little karate kick as well, right? Instead of a ballerina, this could be a kitty karate move. I hope you guys have enjoyed the lesson, and I look forward to drawing with you again soon. Thank you. Bye.